Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Science Certified Life Coach and host of Let the Lady Speak podcast, where we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self love, healing, and healthy dating. Tonight, we're talking about Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 16. I'm just going to kind of give my analysis, my view, and who I think should say no or yes on decision day. But before we get started, I have to welcome you. If you are new to my channel, you are newly subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Welcome to the family. I am happy. We are happy to have you here. If you are passing through, hey, thank you for stopping by. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel or clicking that thumbs up bell. If you are coming back, welcome back, family. So good to see you. It's nice to have you here. But before we get into tonight's episode, I just want to say, please join me this Thursday, May 5th at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, live. I'm going to have First Home Tuber on my channel, and we're going to continue talking about singleness. However, she is going to share her dating journey and why she's choosing to be single for life. And I'm excited to hear this. I love her. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. And so it's going to be a great conversation. Please stop by, say hello, and check it out or watch it on replay. I appreciate you. So let's get into episode 16. And I will say this: when you notice that there are issues with a person or you have concerns, there are red flags, there are just concerns in general, whatever they may be, that is the moment where you stop and ask yourself, if this never changes, will I stay? You ask yourself, can I stay in this forever? Is this okay for me long term? Don't think about, well, maybe it'll change. Don't go on a hope, wish, and a prayer. I'll be the first one to tell you I believe people can change. I believe people can do better. I believe people can unlearn behavior. But what I'm going to also say is that there is a chance that they may not. And if they don't, can you live with that? There are certain type of people I will not date. I don't care how much work they've done on themselves, because I know that there is a trigger that can happen that can take them back to day one. And I don't want to deal with that. I know it wouldn't be good for me, right? And I always encourage people to do the same. And I think sometimes people get so caught up in titles and being chosen, not wanting to look bad, the time that they've invested or whatever else they've invested, and they decide to stay. Yesterday is gone. You never get it back, but you have tomorrow. And how do you want to live your tomorrow? And even tomorrow isn't promised. So make choices that will make you happy long term. It would save you so much heartache. And I just want to say that because I think these people need to hear it. I think they feel like we've gone through this process and they bonded over this process. And some people may say you don't know when they should say yes. Also, guys, I am exhausted. I just finished a stretch. That's why I'm not on camera and my voice isn't that great. I'm kind of hoarse, but it's because I'm tired. So please bear with me. All right, let's get into it. So first up, we have Steve and Noy. I want them to say no. I want them to say no on decision day. I think Noy needs time to grow as a person, figure out who she is. And I think Steve is signing up for something that won't benefit him long term at this point. And I could be wrong, but those are my thoughts. So we see Steve looking for a ring. I'm like, why, Steve? Why are you looking for a ring? Your wife told you she doesn't want to live with you. Now, I know people are saying that this is sponsored and so on and so forth, and maybe, which is actually a smart move, you know. But the problem with getting another ring is he's basically saying, I'm trying and I am okay with the behavior you've been displaying. One thing you have to always remember about your partner and being in a relationship with people, no matter the relationship, what you allow is what you condone. So you're agreeing that the behavior is okay. And when you start rewarding poor behavior, you're really saying, yes, this is okay. Give me more. And if you have somebody who's like a narcissist, a really toxic person, a manipulative person, abuser, they are really going to be like, oh, so you want this abuse, and they're going to give it to you more often and oftentimes worse than before. Be careful about what you sign up for and what you say yes to with your actions. It's not always the words, sometimes it's the actions. The way Noy has been disrespecting Steve and acting out and pretty much calling him useless um, is a problem. And now we're looking for a ring because she's been great and she showed up in this marriage. How so? You know? He said he's doing everything. He's constantly on her about how she's hurting him. How is she showing up? I want to know. And I don't think Noy is a bad person, but I think Noy is hurting. And I think Noy is broken in some places. And we all have that. You just have to be willing to do something about it. And I don't think she's really made that move. Like she's made the strides last week as far as communicating what's going on with her. But I don't think she has taken action. You see it in her attitude and just how she rolls her eyes and things like that. Like, I really have issues with Noy's behavior. Again, I'm proud of her for acknowledging what her issue is, but now you have to do the work. And I don't see her being willing to do that. Noy's friend and her are talking. And again, I don't like how she's misleading. She isn't honest when she talks to her family or friends. It's very one-sided. And it's very much like he's the bad guy and he's a loser. That's how she talks about Steve. And I have a problem with that. I find it to be very problematic. Your partner is an extension of you. And when you disrespect them to others, not only do you give others permission to disrespect them, you show that you don't care for them, right? Which makes it hard for some people to respect you as a person. And that's how I feel about Noy. I don't feel like she knows how to honor and respect Steve as her mate, which is problematic because I don't feel like he deserves it. I don't think Steve is perfect. I don't think Steve deserves what he's getting either. I think Steve's sore spot about sharing his financial status, I think on with the world for one, it's because it's a private matter, but I think because Steve is kind of a free spirit and dreamer, people have talked about him poorly and judged him poorly in the past, and I think that's a place of contention for him. And I think that's why he holds on to it. But we learn when they go out to dinner that Steve has had Noy, excuse me, speak to his family and friends. So everyone is aware of his earning potential, but I don't know what that means. And she said, I don't know what that translates to. The bottom line is this: Noy wants to stay home. Noy wants to be in Steve's shoes. And I think it bothers her that she's not in Steve's shoes. And therefore, she is taking it out on him. I think she is a little jealous and resentful of where he is in his life. She wants to be a stay-at-home wife. And instead of her just being honest, like, hey, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want to know we're going to be okay at home. She rather give him dirty looks, talk about him poorly behind his back, disrespect him in a relationship, and take things to social media, which is extremely immature and it's extremely mean girlish. I heard that somewhere and I was like, you know what, that is so true. She is a mean girl. She does act like a mean girl on this show. And I don't care for it. Then we find out that she doesn't know what he does. So you guys been together every day for 8 weeks. You've been intimate. You've done all of these things, but you haven't figured out what this man skill set is truly. My question is, do you really want to know? Because the internet is readily available where you can look up what that looks like. But again, Noy wants Steve to allow her to work from home. And so the issue is she's not being kept. But really, if you don't want to give up your independence, if you still have open wounds from your past, this raw and everything that we're seeing with Noy, it's just time for her to be alone. I think she should enjoy her independence. I think she should explore who she is as a woman and what it is that she really wants. And I think she needs to heal those past traumas. You take the experience and the lessons from your past relationships, but you don't bring the trauma and the pain and the hurt and the bitterness with you to your current. When you do that, you ruin your relationship. You sabotage your relationship. That's not fair to that person. It's not fair to Steve that she's digging in because of what someone else has done. Now, I understand why she feels that way, and I actually agree. I wouldn't move in with somebody if I felt like they couldn't take care of me. I wouldn't marry someone if I didn't feel like they couldn't take care of the house or that we would be unsafe or unstable. Why would I do that when I have a stable life? That doesn't make sense. So I get it. On the other hand, I don't think that's the issue. And if that is the case, then find that information out. And if you're not getting it, then move forward. But you, one minute, she's talking about fantasy land, and then the next minute, she's upset with him and throwing daggers and being mean and disrespectful and dismissive. So I don't understand, but I will say this, and I said this before, Steve, you condone this behavior and you're rewarding the behavior every time you acquiesce to her poor behavior. So I wish he would kind of take a stance there and not allow that behavior so much. I mean, you can't change or you can't make anyone do what you want them to do, but you can determine how they work in your life. You have the right to walk away. You have the right to disengage. You have your rights. You just need to know what they are and move in that direction. But instead, he's buying her a ring, and I feel like that's just a bad idea. This may be just for TV. I don't know. But I think they should say no. I think they're going to say yes because they're living in the kind of a alternate universe. I think they're just going along with the fantasy of it and not the reality. One thing I tell people all the time is you got to look to see, can I live with this forever? Will this be okay forever? Do I think I could live with this forever? Now, granted, we have limited knowledge, but you pretty much know what you're okay with. Don't ignore the signs, don't make excuses, and don't hope and wish and pray that it's going to get better. Realize this may not get better, and will I be okay with it? I just say, when you are dating, look at the big picture, get out of the fantasy, get out of your emotions, and pay attention to the big picture of things. So that's it with those two. Next up, we have Mark and Lindsey. I think they should say no, but they probably will say yes. But we never know because their relationship is a roller coaster ride. I think Mark will say yes because I think Mark likes the benefit of Lindsey, but he doesn't like Lindsey. He likes that Lindsey can come through for him. He likes that Lindsey can support him, and she's resourceful, but he doesn't like her behavior, how volatile she can be, how disrespectful she can be, how abusive she can be, which is his right. I mean, I completely agree. I wouldn't like that either if I was Mark. And so Mark is meeting with a friend, and his friend is pretty much saying, like, you finally have somebody that can help you out. Why don't you just be happy and look at the current time? I'm like, no, look at her pattern of behavior. Her patterns show that she is abusive. She's unstable. She has poor coping mechanisms. So once she starts choosing her coping mechanism of choice, she becomes more volatile, more violent, more disrespectful. Is that what you want for the rest of your life? You guys can't communicate. Like, there's all of these issues. Yeah, she comes in and helps you out, but then she throws it in your face and belittles you on top of it. Is that what you want for the rest of your life? If she doesn't change that behavior, and Lindsey has not taken a single ounce of accountability. So I don't think she's changing anytime soon. Could be wrong, might prove me wrong, but I don't think that's happening. So with that being said, is that okay with you? And I don't think that's okay with him, you know? And he needs to make a decision based on that. We learned that his mom is now in a nursing home or a rehab facility, and his grandmother is in a rehab facility. Like, he has a lot on his plate. And that's another thing. I think when the two of them went to his mom's house, and he was saying that he wanted to move there, and Lindsey was saying she wanted to make some changes, and he kind of got upset. For one, I agree with Lindsey. I would rather us start anew in our own space and place and make our own memories. Like, I don't want to live in the past. I think Mark wants to live in the past, but I think what's being missed is that Mark is mourning a lot. He has lost so much in these past 2 years. He's lost his dad. His mother is no longer able to live on her own. So, whatever relationship they had that has changed, it's still a loss because it's not what it used to be. His grandmother is ill and now she's in a nursing home, and they were very family oriented person. You can tell they spent a lot of time together. So they can't do that anymore. He's lost his job. He's lost his place. He's lost his friend. He's lost his cat. Like he's losing a lot. And I think him wanting to move into that place and space and just keep it as it is just for comfort. I think it's comfort for him. And it's a anchor for him in a sense. And so while I agree with Lindsey, I understand and I empathize where Mark is right now. He's just lost a lot. I think Mark should just take some time to mourn all that he has lost and maybe find somebody that's in a healthier place. Like I said before, I think the two of them, in theory, would be great. Like if Lindsey could get it together and stop sabotaging this relationship and herself, they could work and they will be fine. And I don't even think Mark is perfect, but Lindsay's issues and her instability and her behavior, it's what's kind of causing this relationship to take a nosedive. So we'll see with the two of them. Lindsay meets with her friend, and she had nothing nice to say about Mark. And I really take issue when you cannot respectfully speak about your partner. Listen, if you don't like your partner, respect your partner. If you can't praise them, meaning say you're doing a good job, lift them up. If you can't speak life into your partner, if you don't even want to, why are you there? You always have to be okay with choosing yourself first. Your happiness and your peace first. People stay in these relationships, but a lot of times they're just there so they don't have to deal with themselves. They'd rather have a body to beat up on versus looking in the mirror and dealing with themselves. And that's what I see in Lindsay, Noy, and a couple other people. So I find it sad, but I think they should say no. They probably would say yes, but I think they should say no. Next up, we have Mike and Jasmina. I wish they would say yes and continue to do some work, but I know they're going to say no. And I think both of them are in a place where they're going to say no. And I think they're both just buying their time at this point. Mike meets with his sisters. That one sister is the therapist because she know it, or she's in therapy and been in therapy for a long time. She knows all the terminology. She's a therapist. I like that sister. Anyway, he meets with his sister, and he pretty much says like we're friends, and I don't want to be friends. I need more than a friendship from my wife, and I agree. But let me say this about Mike now. I gave Mike his kudos last week, and I won't take them away. I love that he has opened up to the process and he's doing the work and he's growing and he's becoming a better man and more comfortable with himself. But Mike needs some courting skills. Someone needs to teach him how to court a lady. Mike doesn't know how to court. I'm like, if you don't get these doors, he won't get the doors. Jasmina always has her own bags. And just like when she was walking down the hallway, she has bags, boxes, and a dog. I'm like, Mike, you're supposed to go downstairs with her and help her put this stuff in a car and see her off. You're always just like leaving her at the door. Even when they were going to the even when they went to the resort, like she had her own bag. She's always opening her own door. Like he's been doing these dates and the dates are nice. But Mike, you need to woo her a little more, honey. If you don't do it with Jasmina, do it for your next lady. Woo her. You got to open the doors. Be a gentleman, honey. Be a gentleman. And I'm like, woo, child, it's kind of hard to watch. And Jasmina drops little hints, but he doesn't pick it up. And I think that's part of the problem. Someone left I think her name is Be Woke. She left a great comment on my last video about the two of them. In there, she stated that Jasmina will do better when the man who is confident, and that is true. That is very true. I do think she needs a more masculine, more confident man, but she also has to be willing to open up and be vulnerable. But I do think that would help her. When you deal with someone with abandonment issues, you have to remember safety is paramount to them. Safety is for everyone, but with a person that's been abandoned, it makes you're more sensitive to it. I feel like what he needs to do is let her know he's going to be okay. With him acting as though he's not okay, she doesn't trust that. It's an unstable ground. And so she doesn't know, like, if I get here, will you be able to take care of me, emotionally or any other way? Because you can't take care of yourself. So they're really both of them really are not in a place to be committed to one another. I think both of them could use a partner who, has is a little further along than they are. But yeah, I agree with what she said. That was actually a really, really good point. So I want them to continue to work on themselves, but I don't know. We're gonna see what happened with the two of them, but I think they're gonna say no. Jasmina was talking with her friend, and basically she's waiting for this to be over. She knows what the issues are, but she won't tell Mike. She knows why Mike is holding back, but won't say anything because she doesn't want him to do it at this point. I think she's pretty much made up in her mind that this is over. Although she keeps letting us know, or trying to make us think, well, we'll see. There's still time. I'm holding out. I think, like, girl, no, you're over it. You have moved on. Let's just say that. But I honestly think that they've had this conversation behind the scenes. I don't think this is anything new to the both of them. I think they both know they're going to say no on decision day. Um, because they haven't made it to a place of romance and intimacy. I wish Dr. V could have stepped in more with the two of them because the one exercise actually helped them get over the hump, and where they both have issues is intimacy. And I'm not even talking about sex. I'm just talking about romantic, emotional intimacy. They both need help in those areas. And I wish she could have come in to help them. But I hope they use the tools they did learn on the show and build on them and continue to grow. I actually hope they know that they need therapy and they just go and get some help. But we'll see what happens. They're beautiful people, though, and I wish them both the very best. So next up, we have Ola and Katina. I want them to say no, but I think they're going to say yes. Ola meets with his coach, and he has concerns about Katina going back to school and changing majors. Um, Listen, I don't feel like Ola's concerns are wrong. I feel like his intentions are wrong. You have a right to want a certain life. I just feel like if these were your desires, must have, you should have spoke about that early on. And it's like you're making things up as you go along. Now we may find out later that it was just edited out. But all of these, I have to have someone that cook, and I have to have someone that is free, and all these things that has to have no matter what. He's a tourist, so he's bullheaded. I have to have these things no matter what. Are these really true for you? Or are you just making excuses? Is the question I have. But what I will say is that Katina should have been asking Elijah Wan the same exact questions that Elijah Wan was asking Katina. Elijah Wan is getting his information, whether the intentions behind it are good, bad, or indifferent. He's getting some information. Katina is chasing making him happy, and that's where she's going wrong. I said before that she has the strong woman syndrome, where she's trying to prove how strong she is, how much she can take, and what she can deal with, and that she's going to be okay, and she's not going to really get into her emotions and feelings. But in that, she's draining herself. She talks about how he drains her, how exhausting he is, how he talks to her, like all of these problems she has. It's time for you to be evaluating whether or not he is right for you, and if he can be with you long term. Will he be the one to help support you through nursing school? Your partner can help you. Your partner should help you. Your partner should help you through these life changes. but he's telling you this is something that he doesn't want. So I wish, instead of emptying her cup and carrying all of this load, trying to prove that she is strong enough and capable and able, I wish she would require the same of him. I wish he would say, I need a husband that's going to support me. I need a supportive, loving husband. I need someone who's going to encourage me. And maybe I need to think twice about this. He is right. She needs to be selfish. He's absolutely right. Elijah wine is Elijah wine, but he's right. She needs to be. You can be selfish when you're single, because once you get into a marriage and a committed relationship, you can't be anymore, you know? Because you have to consider your partner. Your decisions impact that other person, especially in marriage. Although they're married, they have a day for out, so they could no longer be married. I would highly suggest that she really gets the information she needs and really take a moment and think about whether or not she can live with him and all of his requirements, his instabilities, his behavior. Can she deal with that long term? He's already exhausted you in this short period of time. Can you live with this forever? That's what she needs to ask. How can she be the best version of herself in this marriage? I don't think he will allow it because he wants too much. Are you willing to pour into this man in the ways that he needs? Because he's letting you know, this is what I want and this is what I need. Can you live up to that for the rest of your life? Do you want to? And what about you? And I think those are the questions Katina needs to ask herself. But she definitely should have been questioning him the same way he was questioning her. Because he was asking the right questions. Honestly, he was. But she was just like, oh, you make me laugh. Laughing is not good enough, girl. You better watch a comedy. Do something else. But I wouldn't tie myself down to him, knowing that he can't support her or be a better version of herself in the ways that she wants. He'll do it in the ways that he wants. He wants her to be a better cook. So, okay, I'm a cook with you. He wants her to be more adventurous. He's thinking about getting his needs met, which you should do. If you're getting into a relationship, how will my needs be met in this relationship, right? But she's not doing it, and she's going to drain herself if she doesn't make a change. So I wish she would focus on that versus focusing on pleasing him, because it's going to be problematic in the long term. But again, I want them to say no. They probably will say yes. No matter what these couples do, I really, really do wish them love, light, and healing. I wish them happiness, and I hope they find the best for them in a partner or in singleness or freedom, whichever they choose. So, what do you guys' thought? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up bell. I will see you Thursday on my live. Please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye-bye.